actually, yeah, it's there. No, it's there. No need at all. Uh, so in the last class of control structure, we already have discussed about what is control structure is all about. So just like in real life example, we perform each and every task based on some conditions, based on some environments, right? So the so the so the performance or task we daily do, it's totally depend, it totally depend on our circumstances, on our conditions. If I got fever, then I cannot take the class, right? Cannot take the class. But if I'm okay, I'm healthy, then I can take class properly, right? So everything happens in our day to day life is based on any conditions, any circumstances, right? So in the same way, when we want to write some instructions for the computer, so these instructions will also be based on some circumstances, some conditions, some environment, some user requirement. So the instructions will also be based on that, right? So we already have discussed about sequence structure, selection structure, and loop structure. I'll just revise one more time in a very short time. So the each and every program is only combined with these three set of lines. Okay, so first one is sequence structure. What is sequence structure? Suppose here I am and I need to perform a task. So I have performed the task action 1, you may say, and then I have performed action 2, and then action 3. So this is the simplest way of writing the program. We just need to perform one task after completing the previous one, then again the next task, and after that we just simply exit from the our program. So this is the simplest one, sequence structure, where everything happens one after another. No if, no else, no conditions. Okay, all right. Now the selection structure. This is based on some conditions, right? This is based on conditions. Like in our real life example, if it is raining outside, then need to take an umbrella, right? Otherwise, I don't need to take any umbrellas, right? So this is based on selection structure. Whether if the condition became true, whether it is true, then I will perform some task, otherwise I will perform some other task. So the simplest way of selection structure is if else, and we already have learned a simple program based on this if else, right? Okay, and now and the last one is our loop structure. When we have a set of tasks which is repeating all the time or most of the time, then we go to the loop structure. Just like in case of ours, like we are an employee, right? And we need to perform some kind of task daily, almost daily, right? So this can be thought of as a single task but performing multiple times. So this will come under this loop structure, iteration or repetition of some instructions. So if I need to say a computer print hello world, and this same task I need to perform 1000 times. So this is the same task but I need to perform 1000 times. So this will come under this loop structure. Okay, now the control structure is already we have seen selection, sequence and loop. This control structure is divided into three parts. And now the selection is come under this if else and switch. We are going to learn all these two, and then the sequence one task after one task and one task. So this is the simplest form, so this is the end. This has not sub parts of this. And in loop we are going to learn about do while loop and for loop. So we already have seen a basic example of for loop for now, but we will learn more about this for loop. So now come to the if statement. The syntax is very simple. We just need to write if, and in the middle bracket we need to provide some condition. Yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Uh-huh. Yes, yes, I am recording the class actually. Yes, yes, because he is also not there, so I'll give this link of video so that he can revise after his exams. Yes, 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 sir. Don't worry about that. So the if, yeah, so the syntax is very simple. We need to just have a if. This is a keyword. We are going to learn about what is keyword in our next sessions. But for now, you can think of this as a reserve word, which is written in the C++ compiler or C++ language, which we need to use which we need to use to tell the computer that if this condition will become true, then I need to perform some set of instructions. Suppose if the condition become true, I need to go outside, and if the condition doesn't become true, I don't need to go outside. So the if condition is very easy. We can have an if is, there are some lots of noise from your side actually. You can mute your mic actually. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is the very simplest way of writing any program. If there is some conditions, I need to write this if, and in the parenthesis we need to apply our condition. So in our last example we have seen that leap year conditions, right? Leap year condition says what? If the year is totally divisible by 4, then it is a leap year. So we have applied a conditions if remainder is equals to 0, then this is a leap year, right? So we have already seen a very simple basic example of if and else statement. Now one more thing in if and else statement. We also have if else later. If else later. What is this? Suppose not only two possibilities are there are maybe multiple possibilities, multiple conditions. Then how we are going to apply that? Okay, let me take a real time example. Suppose my father, if he wants to drink tea, then I will prepare tea for him, okay? But he don't like tea. So I will ask him if he like coffee. So I will prepare coffee for him. Okay, but again he don't like it. So this condition will become false. This condition will become false. So I again will ask him, my father, that if he would like to eat something, then I will cook for him. Okay. So as you can see, there can be multiple conditions. Based on that condition, I need to perform any task, right? So in the same way, whenever we get some kind of situations where can be multiple conditions, on the basis of that I need to take any actions, so in that case we are going to use if the condition became true, I will write the instructions there. If and then check for some other conditions, then I will apply else if. Okay. And again, if this is not the case, if this became also false, then I will apply the second one, else if. And this will can continue like this. Yes. Sorry. It's passing. No, no, I do not understand. Can you type in the chat box, please? Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 yes. Only the first one will only have if, and on the next one it will be like else and then if. Why is this so? Because if this condition became true, none of the conditions are going to write or execute now. Like I'll take an example, like if suppose I'm going to check whether this number is 5 or greater than 6. It is true. No, it is not. So this if statement will not execute, right? Then I will come to this second. If 5 is greater than or equal to 6, again this is not true. Yes, yes. So we will continue to our next statement. Else if, so we need to apply here if 5 is less than 6. Yes, now it's become true, right? So this set of statement will be run and the whole part will be skipped. None of them are going to check. If suppose I have other conditions as well, if else if 5 is less than or equals to 6, this is also true, but only one set of instructions are going to execute. If it's found the set of instructions which is will be executed, after that it is not going to check any further conditions, it will just come out from there. No, 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 no. This one will be. This is also an entry point as well as exit point, because this condition became true and this set of instructions run. But after the running these instructions, none of the instructions or conditions are going to check. So this is both entry as well as exit point for this case. Okay, just keep this in mind when we will practice some practical questions based on C++, then it will be more clear to you. So now the switch statement. Yeah, this is same as if else statement, like if condition became true, I will perform some set of instructions, else if some will perform, then again some instructions. So this is same as switch statement. The only difference is that in the if is else statement we need to write multiple times if else, then if else, else if, else if, else if, right? So it can be quite. Yes, yes, yes. We cannot estimate the exact. We, as a programmer, we can get confused. It can be confusing for us. Yes, yes, yes. So to make it more easy. Yes, more easy and more readable. There is one more control structure which is termed as switch. Okay, so what exactly happened within this switch is, let me explain you first of that. So first of all I will write this keyword switch, and in this we have an expression. What is expression? Expression can be any conditions, any variable, any value, whatever it can be. So expression is something like I have taken a variable called name or number. It is initialized with 5. So I can apply this number here as well. So it can be anything. An expression can be a condition, a value. We are going to learn more about different type of expression. In that it will be more clear to you that how can we apply the expressions here. But for now you can think of this, it is an value. So let's suppose I have a value switch 5, right? And in this we need to write the case. If this number would be 1, what will I need to do? I will just print cout 1. Okay? Yes, and just like in our previous if else ladder, only one set of instructions executed, and after one instructions every other will be skipped, right? So in the same way here we are going to do the same thing. Only one of the case will be executed. Only one of the case will be, yes, only one of the action will be, whatever. Haha. Yes, whatever the condition will fulfill, whatever the case will be fulfilled, only that particular action will be executed, other will be skipped. So let's suppose if case is 1, I will write 1 for it, and then break. Why do I apply break here? So that none of the case will be evaluated after this one. If this one executed, then I will just write break here. I will explain more about break, but for now you can think of this as this is just to come out from this switch statement. This will come from. No, actually this is not a function. This is a keyword which is used in C++. It is not a kind of function actually. But you can now think of this as an exit. Just we have in our flow chart we have used. Okay, no, it's not a. Okay, I thought you were talking about the break. So switch can you think of this as a scope. It is also called as scope. Just like we have function scope to perform any task, in the same way in the switch statement we are going to perform only task, any one of task, but based on some conditions, right? But this is not the case with function. The function doesn't perform any task based on condition. It will just execute whatever the value will be inside this scope, right? But in switch statement we perform same task but based on some conditions. Okay, so we are just need to. So suppose I was in the switch and I have applied 5 here. In case of 1, when this value will be 1, what I need to do? I just need to apply or print 1. It is 1. Yes, it is. And then need to apply break here. Case 2 will be, I just need to print cout 2. Break here. So this will continue like this, and at the last if none of the conditions, suppose none of the condition will become true, in the same way just we have taken our example of our father. My father likes tea, I will prepare tea for him. If he like coffee, I will prepare coffee for him. But what we can do when he doesn't like any of these things? He don't like coffee, he didn't like eating, he don't like tea, he doesn't like anything whatever the options I have given to him. In that case what we would do? So for that, we have a default. What default exactly means if none of the condition became true, this will definitely run. Right, just like in our real life example, if he doesn't like anything, I will definitely make him sure to prepare for something him, right? Because I don't want he should be hungry. So in the yes, I will definitely do for him. I will definitely cook for him. If he doesn't like any of the options which I have given to him, but at the last I will definitely going to cook for something. Right? In the same way, suppose if this 5 doesn't match any with the cases, then what do I need to do? I need to have a default. If none of the condition will become true, this default will run. And I will just simply write don't match or whatever I can do here based on our requirement. So for now, this 5 doesn't match with any condition. That's why I print the message doesn't match or don't match. So this is how our default works. Maybe yes, okay. Okay, for now we have learned about for statement, and we will continue the for statement first. So I already have explained a little bit about this for loop, right? So here we have initialization or variable declaration, right? Suppose take an example of I need to print on my screen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's take this example output and we need to write a program for it using for loop. All right. Yes, I'm getting you. All right. So I already have explained what about for loop. So for loop is basically a set of three statements. Set of three statements, you can say. Okay, because in the first statement we initialize some value. Expression 1 will be initialization and declaration, right? Yes. And in expression 2 we have the conditions which we need to check, and in the expression 3 we can increment or decrement both the values. And I have already explained you the way how it's executed. First this statement will be executed, so this one will be first executed, then this condition will be evaluated. If this condition became true, then whatever the action inside this scope will be performed, right? After performing that action, this will again come to this statement, so this will be run at third step and this will be run at fourth step, right? In the after performing this fourth statement, this will again come to this second one, I mean the conditions based. If this become again true, then it will again going to perform the actions, just like we have seen in our flow chart. So let's suppose if some conditions will become true, here we have some x is equals to 0, and if x is equals to 0, then it is again going to the same rule. So if x is equals to 0, this is going to this, then it will come to this one. So for now it is again every time it is going to be equals to 0, because we have just seen here if x is equals to 0, and yes, it is x is equal to, so this will be an infinite loop. Infinite loop. Infinite loop. So I have explained everything, and I may consider that you have. Let's run our program, then we will understand more about this. I need to print something like this on my screen, so I can simply write something like this: cout 1. and then we can apply end line here, right? What we have learned in the last session. Okay, so it's got hanged. Okay, so end line we have just, so I can write this program just the same as it is, right? But for now it is only have 1 to 5, right? What about if I need to print 1 to 1000 or 1 to 100? Do I need to write this C out 100 times or 1000 times? No, that will be not an efficient way of programming. So in that situation I am going to use for loop, because loop is basically what? If some conditions, some same conditions, same action I need to apply daily or I need to apply multiple times, in that situation we need to use loop. Suppose in our example, if I need to do my office work, then the same task I need to do multiple times. So will I do the same task again and again? No. So in that case situation we are going to use for loop. Let's write the program first. So for now I will write 4, and here we have initial value. We need to write 1 to 5, right? So let's take in a variable called int number is equals to 1. Why I am initializing here with 1? Because as we can see we need to start from 1, right? So that's why I have initialized with num1, and then the semicolon, and then the conditions. What condition I need to apply here? You can think of this as your own. We need to print 1 to 5, right? So can I apply a condition like this? Num is less than or less than 6. Can I apply this condition here? Yes, we can apply here, because if num is 1 I need to print this one. If num is 2 I need to print this. 3, yes. 4, yes. 5, yes. But if became 6, then I don't need to apply or don't need to print this one, right? So we can apply this condition here. And what else I need to do? Increment or decrement. In this situation, what can you think of this? It is incrementing the value or decrementing? Incrementing. So I will choose this one. So I will write just what I am going to print, right? So I will apply the increment of number here. Num is equals to num plus 1. Every time it is incrementing by 1. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, right? So now, and we need to print this as well. Cout, what value I need to print here? Num, of course. And I need to have this in a new line always, right? So we need to also apply here a end line operator. So now let's trial run this program. Trial runs is basically means that we are going to see step by step how the program will execute. So we will always try to trial run of the program before running it on our compiler. So for the first statement, sorry? Yes, please. Yes, we can apply both the conditions at the same time. Look, this is just an expression. We have only used one expression here. We can use multiple expressions here as well. Suppose I want two variable to be initialized in this. Okay. So what can I do? I will write int num equals to 1. I need one more variable. In that case, what can I do? And this is the only one space where I can initialize value. So I will write a comma and then take another variable, int num2 is equals to 3, suppose. And then I can apply here semicolon. So this will be termed as expression 1 only, because we only need to initialize value in our expression 1. So we can have multiple initialization, multiple condition, multiple increment, decrement, both, or maybe one of them will increment, one of them will decrement. So we can have multiple of that. We are going to look for that. But for now, to sake of easy, you can only think of only one conditions, one assignment, one increment or decrement. So for now, we have taken a variable called num. So in our memory, suppose this is our memory, a variable or a location will be created and the name of the location will be num, right? And we have initialized this with 1. So the value 1 will be stored here. This is the first step which is going to run, right? In the second step, we are going to check the condition. So is num is less than 6? Yes, it is. So the condition became true, right? So the condition became true. In that situation, what next will happen? This will come inside this scope. And whatever the statement would be here, it can have multiple statements. But for now, we have only one statement. And we need to perform this statement, cout num. Okay, so here is our output window and it is going to print 1. Cout num. So what is the num value currently? So the num value is currently in the memory is 1. So it will print 1 here. And we have applied int ln here. So the next output would be in the next line. Right? So after checking the condition, after performing the execution of this statement, the third one will be this part, right? So it is going to perform num is equals to num plus 1. So whatever the value of num, for currently it is 1. So it will 1 plus 1 which became 2, right? So now again this statement is going to check the condition part. Num is less than 6. Yes, it is less than 6. So it is again going to print the value 2. Whatever the value of num will be, it is going to print here. And in ln will make it to move to next line. Again it is going to check, again it is going to increment the value 3. So again it is going to test the conditions. So 3 is less than 6. Yes, it is. So this will continue like 3, 4, 5. When the num value will become 6. Okay. So now 6 is less than 6. No. This becomes now false, right? So this code of statement will not run anymore and it will just come out from this loop. And whatever the value after that will be printed. So we can write here something like this, loop finished. Right? So in the last we can have an output like this. Okay? So when the condition will become false, this will totally come out from this loop. Are you getting the point? Okay, let's move on. So yeah, that's it for today. Okay. So for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you. Okay, I need an output something like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1 is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. 2 programs for these. output.